I'll be honest.
We are live.
We're live.
We are live. I'm glad you got the air conditioning going. I have my own issues with air conditioning, so I understand that. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
Yeah. It's other than the AC issues in Indiana, and it was the hottest week of the year, not too bad. I got to watch a little golf on Sunday. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. I think for the
Yeah, we
card
can talk a
hobby,
little bit.
for the
I
card
watched a
hobby,
little bit
that
of
could
it.
actually be pretty interesting, given who won. Yeah, we got the NBA Finals that wrapped up last night. Even though the AC wasn't working, I sat on the couch and watched that train wreck of a game come to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next year for the Bucks, maybe next year for the Kings, but it's going to be Boston for the next year that everybody's going to talk about, rightfully so.
I know it's funny why I feel bad about it. Like Boston was good the whole year long. You know what I'm saying? They had the best record. They took care of business. I guess I just wish it was a better series. And then I'm wondering, was it because that was like, would have any of the other teams in the West been a better series? Like, would the Nuggets have been better? Or would I don't know. I guess it is what it is. They were the champs.
That's a tough call. I think the Nuggets probably would have been a better series. I don't think the Thunder would have been a better series. I don't think the T-Wolves would have been better. Experience would have mattered. Maybe the Lakers would have eked out 2 games instead of 1. I don't know.
I also will never forget that the Nuggets were up by 20 points, right in the second half, in Game 7, at home, and lost.
Yeah.
Wow. And we all thought that well, not we all, but the hobby thought that Anthony Edwards was the changing guard, after the first 2-0 start, and then it's like, he's okay. He reminds me a lot of Devin Booker.
He does, yeah.
Where everybody had high expectations, and then when you look at it, really, what does he get? Like Devin Booker, in my opinion, is done. He's cooked.
He needs to get on another team, or the team. Still. He needs to team up with somebody, much like take the Celtics, right? They had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and they weren't getting anything done. They would lose every single year. It was the same story over and over again. Then they get Drew Holiday, when it basically, I would argue, for nothing, which is insane. And it changes everything. And then they got Al Horford back, veteran leadership, good locker room guy. It's just,
was it getting rid of Smart? Was it getting rid of Smart was the key?
It probably was.
Getting rid of Smart.
You're probably right.
He's been there for 9 years,
And it wasn't amazing.
The plus, it was the minus.
When you think about Boston, you think about Indiana, right? Indiana was in the conference finals as well. They traded Aaron Naismith to the Pacers, and Aaron Naismith was a impact player for the Pacers, and the Celtics had him, and they gave him away.
Yeah.
So they had a ton of depth, and they've drafted well. They're still reaping the benefits of that trade that they made with the Brooklyn Nets back in the day when they fleeced him. I think for who was it for? It wasn't a Kyrie trade. It was before that. It was like I can't remember. But anyway, they fleeced them. Oh, I remember. It was the Kevin Garnett trade, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're still reaping the benefits of that today.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking, we're now coming up with this end. We're now 10 years next year from Curry's first championship in 2015. Yeah. Right. So 2025 will be 10 years. And when you think about that, that means 10 years ago he had that run where he was in 4 straight championships or four, I guess, in a row, and then one later on one.
And then they
took 2 off, and then
they get 5 in a row.
They won in 21.
They won in
not 5.
They won in 22. They took 2 years off because Curry was hurt and Clay was hurt, and then they had the one in 2019 that they lost when Kevin Durant got hurt against the Raptors. But then they won 3 of the 4, I think, against the Cavs.
Yes.
So they went to 5 straight finals and won 3 of them.
It is crazy. I remember it being so dominant, it was kind of boring. Like you were either a Warriors fan or a Warriors hater.
Yeah.
That's almost kind of how I feel like with the Boston right now. I think if you're either a Boston fan or you're a Boston hater. I don't want to say I'm a hater. I'm definitely not a Boston fan. So I don't. But maybe it's the beginning of their dynasty. Who knows?
It could be. It could be the beginning of a lot of parity too, where you've got a lot of teams that are right there that anything can happen. But Boston, in injury, will have to happen for them to fall lower in the East. They're probably the class of the East for at least a while. Probably.
It's interesting. You mentioned parity, and I was just thinking, I think parity is bad for the hobby. When you think about hobby values, right? It's in teams that are become dynasties. They go over and over. Like parity is bad. You win one championship, so what? But you go to 4 or 5 in a row like Curry and LeBron. That's why we have value in their cards today. Yeah. But there's no value in Giannis's cards or, the Nugget dude, Jokic yet. So you got to have these dynasties. And the same thing in other sports too, right? Like the Yankees were dynasty for a while, and that's where they had those big values. But
right,
Jeter cards, right?
Jeter, yeah, great example.
Mahomes is based on the fact we're looking at him building a dynasty.
Yep.
Right. If he had been if he had Buffalo built it and been to 4 Super Bowls and lost, we wouldn't care as much. So dynasties are key for value.
Oh, for sure. But I still think there's a lot of parity in the West. I think you'll see it get jumbled up again next year. The guys that finish with the top 3 seeds, one of them is going to finish 7th or 8th next year. It always happens. I'm very hopeful the Kings have a good offseason. I think the Warriors are going to have a decent offseason. They're still hanging on by a thread to that dynasty. Yeah. The dynasty's over, but they're hanging on by a thread to get Curry back to at least one more finals.
Yeah,
otherwise,
it's more of a legacy thing.
It's a legacy thing, right?
Yeah. In fact, also another thing I'll say too is there's nobody, in my opinion, exciting coming out of the draft that's going to be game changing. Or what it will be big is free agency. I've heard them talking about free agency. Obviously, a lot of stuff's going on there. That will be exciting. But when we talk about the draft, there's nothing going on there that's going to be exciting, in my opinion, unless there's some sleeper rookie comes out next year and blows everybody away. So a lot of it's Victor. It'll be Victor momentum, in my opinion, going into next year. The products will still be Victor focused, right? You'll see Victor products, and I think you'll get Victor hype moving into next year. So.
Well, it'll be interesting because next year, don't we get the first year of Topps basketball? The Topps Chrome basketball?
Not until 25 of October. I think they've got to go through another full season.
The next one. That's the next one after
I think it's
this?
the next one. That's what I'm saying. We got to go through another full season of this product, and then we get them into 25, and then 26 is football.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out because Topps probably wished it. Well, they had Victor in a exclusive anyway, so they've reaped the benefits of that, and then Panini has too because of the colored parallels. People are still making money on Victor. You've made a lot of money.
I'm bitter over it. Like as a hobby purist, I'm definitely bitter. I think we've ruined the hobby with these Victor damn autographs. These crossover. We have Victor baseball product. It's annoying. Yeah. At the same time, I'm kind of accepting it. Like I kind of look at it, it's really, here's what the deal is. In the future, you're gonna look back and go, do you have a Victor rookie year autograph or rookie year card? It might be him in a freaking baseball jersey on the Yankees mound throwing the ball. It won't be the traditional rookie card that I think we're gonna see, but that is the future. It just is. Like I think it really comes down to rookie year now. Instead of rookie card, it's really when's his rookie year? What cards came out in that year? What autographs did he have in that year? Because the rookie card, pre-rookie card, XRC rookie card, first card, who knows? But I'm excited for those more Wimby sticking out.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited for more of them to come out. I hope the price is right on those. I hope it's not too much money. I'd like to get in on a little bit of that comes out, but I don't want to go crazy because I still think long-term people aren't going to care as much about that product unless it's the player with the auto. That's the only thing they care about. They're not going to care about the Steph Curry base card that comes out of there with the airbrushed look or the back of the jersey that just says number 30 or whatever. They're not going to care about that. Maybe a little, but not a ton.
But let's say this, out of the gate, the first Chrome autos of these older players will go for more money than you think, in my opinion. Like I think a Curry Topps Chrome unlicensed will catch more surprising value than I think it should, and I think it'll decline. Same with LeBron. These LeBrons will go for a lot of money too, and again, they're going to be non-licensed, but they'll be the first autographs in a while, so everybody's going to be eating them up.
Yeah.
And I assume there'll be his in a Lakers jersey or a Lakers-like jersey, right? Yellow and purple. So it's good. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunity to have fun in the hobby right now. I wouldn't bet on anything long term personally or attach my card to anybody long term, but I think there's a lot of opportunity of fun, which is gonna be, which is what it's all about.
Well, it's a great point. It is, we had Topps Chrome Baseball released today, and I think you look at that, and I think it's just about having fun. You have to concede that they changed it on you, bigger checklist. You've got probably more parallels. It'll look great coming out. Like, cards will look amazing. But
did you pre-order?
No, I didn't. I was on the fence. I had 2 hobby boxes in my cart. I didn't want to go crazy and get a case like some people I know.
Yep.
I wasn't also sure how much this AC unit was going to cost today. I'll be honest. I didn't know what I was up against, and I'm like, this is really coming at a bad time. I would be all about buying a case,
understand.
But I was like, I have no idea what this is going to cost. Like, I had no idea if the unit was bad. It was going to cost me like, $2,000 or something. I was like, well, there's my case right there. Luckily, it was only like $100. So I was like, that was lucky.
Walk me through this for people watching. The value in buying the boxes now and getting the sealed boxes. You get them, you go to National, and then you can take the hobby, the jumbo boxes. They cut the thing, and you get packs for it. What's the pack payout? What's the pack rebate when you think about last year? You get about $60 per box back or $20? Is that still? Because I'll tell you, I thought about this a lot today, and I still think it's better for me to buy breaks.
Yeah.
And to spend I think it was $2,200 right for a case. Do I want to spend $2,200 on a case, or do I do $2,200 on teams that I like? Because I'm only doing the case for those silver packs.
That I thought about that was kind of where I ended up at it. A lot of debate I was having with Brett and some of the friends that we have some chats with, and I think they were each gonna buy a case, and I was like, guys, I just think I'm not gonna buy any. And here's my reasoning. I said, I'm not planning on going to the National. And because of that, the silver packs have no value to me. I'm not going to get them, right? So am I going to pay $190 for a box to get the silver pack that would have added value that I could have done something with to mitigate the box price? But like you said, what was the value of the box last year? I think I ended up with 6 silver packs that I ended up with. I opened 2 and I sold 4. I sold them for $75 a pop. That covered almost half my box price overall. And so I looked at that and said, well, that's a $75 opening. And I ended up with some really good cards. I ended up with a Corbin Carroll at the time, a wave out of 75. I got it graded. I got a 10. I made lots of money on that. I ended up with a Riley Green blue, really cool looking card. Made decent money on that. But then beyond that, I will say, like, a couple of the boxes weren't the greatest, but because I had the lower price point that I started with because of the silver packs, it made it a lot easier to open the product and make money because I could go and lose, let's say, 60% of my original value and still do okay. And that's kind of where I ended up. So I was like, okay, do I go to the National? Do I try to go for one day to get silver packs? Maybe they're hard to get this year. You never know. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe they don't even do it. That's the other thing. We don't even have anything declared, and they have Fanatics Fan Fest coming up like a month later. They might save it. Yeah. For all we know, they're going to save it for that event instead. I don't know. But that's kind of where I ended up. I just said, I think I'm out right now until I change my mind.
I will say this: if the silver packs are there, I definitely feel like it's best to sell them sealed. I think that if you do hit a good card, you have to grade. Yeah. Don't you think it's better to sell them than to rip and grade?
As good as it is to pull a great card, and they're usually not hard to pull, I found the more I've looked at people opening them, it's best just to sell the packs. You're gonna do okay.
I don't think that those cards. They don't hold the same value, in my opinion. Like, people still want the Bowman Chrome more than they want the National Bowman Chrome insert. So, and which is funny because, let's be honest, the print run on those has got to be lower, right? I mean, logically, the silver pack should have less. Like the base silver pack should be less than a base chrome. But hey, why use logic in the hobby?
Well, I had an Adley Rushman speckle that I got last year at one of the 2 packs I opened had an Adley Rushman speckle, and I got a 9 on it, and I sold it for I think it was like $50. I could have sold that thing raw right out of the box for like $80, and I should have. I took a gamble, and I thought, well, I'm gonna chase a 10, and I didn't get a 10. Whatever. I still made money overall because the pack was basically free. So didn't feel too bad about it. But again, that was a good rookie, and people still didn't want to pay for it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, a Gunner would have done well at the time. A Corbin Carroll would have done well at the time. An Ellie would have done well at the time. But now I think it's changed.
Well, I think I'm going to focus my Chrome budget into breaks and possibly retail.
Yeah.
Because I do think you'll get some good bang for your buck in retail versus hobby. And I think there's going to be a ton of it this year, just like there was last year. Like I think you can buy it in, I won't say a discount, but I think you can buy it in bulk and get a good deal off of it. So I'm not worried about, I don't think it's going to be a short, a lack of, and I'm also curious, like you said, there's a lot of stuff coming out. Who knows? Maybe they'll do they did soccer packs last year too. Maybe they'll do basketball packs with Wemby this year. That would be cool. I can see that. Cool. I could totally see the national tops doing some of the Wemby and with Stroud. Like I will say, I still haven't heard anything about those Fanatics products. Like when are those coming out? I thought they were coming in June. I think now I'm being told July. I'm glad because I'm not ready for them yet, but I'm definitely interested in those when they come out. And those I will probably, again, I don't know if I go breaks or I buy boxes in that. Probably buy a box of each and then probably buy some breaks.
I wouldn't go more heavy than a box just for the fun of the rip.
Yeah.
And, the first time you're opening a Topps baseball or basketball or football product in 15 years or whatever, however long it's been, 10 years. Go back to when Curry played. It was like it's come full circle, right? You started with Curry and 10 years since his championship. I think it's been 10 years since Topps Chrome because Curry was a rookie. I mean, that was the last time you had basketball on Chrome. So that was 15 years ago.
Do you stash any of this Fanatics unlicensed Chrome boxes away?
No. Here's why. I don't
know. I'm thinking yes.
I go either way on that one because one is they're going to have more of it going forward, and it will be licensed very soon. That's going to entice people to go to that product instead of this. Depending on the rookie class, this one's all going to be about Wemby's first-year cards, which I don't think you can say it's a rookie card. It's his first-year card or whatever, first Topps card, and then they're going to have the autos.
Yep. But
traditionally, I will say that we haven't seen one player just carry an entire product because even back in the day, Wander Franco, as much as he was carrying Series 1 at the time, it never really went up in value, like exponentially, to where I think you might want to see.
But I think the difference is we've been used to every year of that growing, right? This is going to be the first release of Fanatics Chrome for basketball or whatever. It's going to be the first. And unfortunately, people like the firsts. Like I wish I kept my damn first iPhone. Right? See, I'll get the sealed iPhone on the side.
Oh, I know.
Did you watch that? Reminds me. Did you watch?
I did.
Did you watch the Golden thing?
I did. I watched.
Before we go there and start talking about this, I do want to answer this. I'm going to put this question up here for you. I don't know if you saw this. This is a good question. Starting from the LeBron draft in 2003, can you name 5 guys that are Hall worthy? I'm struggling here. I'm going to say off the top, easily Curry.
Curry.
I would say probably Jokovic.
Durant.
I think he's.
Curry,
I'm going to give Durant, although I don't like him.
I don't like him, but I think he's got a body of work there that can't be ignored. I think Giannis has a body of work there. He's got multiple MVPs. He's got a Finals MVP.
Yes.
Even though he's won championship, I think you got to put him up there.
Yes,
so that gets
4.
4. I'm sure there's somebody obvious I'm forgetting.
I mean, there's a lot that I think will get it that I don't necessarily think are worthy. Like I think what Draymond Green will probably get it. I don't think he's worthy personally, but I think he'll get it because of the whole Warriors thing. Okay, and he has an impact. He's a very valuable player.
Is AD worthy?
I don't think he is. I'm thinking of somebody more like a utility, long-term legacy player, somebody who's been around. Like, I'll tell you, I think Jimmy Butler has a good argument. I like Jimmy a lot. I think he's got the numbers. He's got some finals.
Is that wait?
03.
So the key there is starting with that draft class. Does that mean Dwayne Wade?
Yeah. That's a question too, because you have him. He would definitely be a Hall of Famer there.
I'm going to 03, right? Him he was the same year.
Yeah, he was.
So he was. I mean, I think getting to 5 isn't that.
So was Melo, right? Was Melo?
Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, he's another one. Yeah, Chris Bosh. I don't know about him whether he'd get in, but I think Dwayne Wade would definitely get in.
You know what you could do too is go through all the guys who will not get in, right? All the number 1 and number 2s that will not get in.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's 21 years.
Yeah.
That's definitely a lot of time to get 5 players that you think are Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
It's a good question though.
Does every year have a Hall of Fame player?
Here. Does what?
Is there a Hall of Fame player in every? Is there a Hall of Fame player in every rookie year, and every year?
No,
go back and look at that.
So.
Right, and same thing with other sports. Do other sports feel the same way? You have
years
where you have no Hall of Fame players.
There's probably years like that. So look, I look at that and said, well, does every year have an MVP? Right? Probably not. But does every year have if you combine Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, other accolades, does every year have one of those? For sure.
Yeah.
But you just never know, right? Guys can, especially in baseball, guys can come out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, and win Finals MVP or World Series MVP. Jeremy Pena is a great example of that. And there's plenty of other guys. And even in football, Deion Branch back in the day, or in basketball, Andre Iguodala. These guys win MVPs, but they're not season MVPs. They're just situational MVPs.
That's true. Very true.
But the hobby doesn't seem to care that.
So we were talking a little bit. We were mentioning Golden. Did you watch the Golden series? What were your thoughts, comments? Did you finish it?
I did. Yeah, I watched all. I think it's 8 episodes or something like that. Yeah,
8,
I watched them all.
I liked it. I really did.
I liked it. There was less sports this time than anything. It was different. I think if you were going to say, like, what did they do in terms of if they're building a series here, right? Because they want to have multiple seasons. You could tell who they were building the character around, like his daughter and the younger kid that was selling the Pokemon, and he made the mistake with the Wemby, and he could get him on a photo op or something on camera. I was like, that was kind of funny. I was like, that's kind of staged, isn't it? Like does Ken Golden really tell him, like, do you know him? Do you have his cell phone number? Because that's impossible. And it's like, come on, guys, you're Ken Golden. You probably can make a call on that one. I'm pretty sure you could. You live in Philadelphia. Michael Jordan lives in Philadelphia. You guys can call each other, and probably you're on first name basis. I'm pretty sure you can get Wemby.
Yeah, but it might have been pushing it. I thought what to me was interesting was what happened to Alex, the girl. I mean, she was in this episode. You saw her in there, but she was not the storyline at all.
Right. It was
and I did think myself, why are they focusing? Yeah, why were they focusing on the guy? Because I'll be honest, and my other thought was, here's my other thought. What do you think he's making? If he did $5 million in Pokemon sales, whatever the shit's called, what do you think his commission was on that? He's a young kid. That could be life-changing money. I don't think it was as big as it should be. I think he's probably way underpaid. I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking that. It's like, okay, so you brought $5 million of business. 1% of that's a pretty good check. So.
Oh, for sure. And even like these goals that they had as a company, like the 30 million in goals, and I don't know how interim basis that was, or the 2 million at the Comic-Con festival or something like that, or something like it was a small amount. Yeah. But yeah, it was really interesting to see who they focused on in terms of the follow arounds. And I thought the diversity of like the items they looked at, like the guy with the tons of video games, and then the Kate Winslet dress, and you had the guy with all the baseballs in the basement that had the torches from the Olympics, and we happened to be in the Olympics year. And I just thought, there was a little bit of orchestration to that, clearly for purpose because of timing. And I would be very curious to see what happens next. I think they need to bring back the Cleopatra hand.
We need to know. We need to know what happens to that for sure. But also, eBay now buys them, so I wonder if they even will do another season.
Right.
And I will tell you. Here's another thought. I'll come out of this. I honestly, if I had a large collection or something that I wanted to sell, I am more likely to use Golden now than I ever have been. I will say that.
Yeah.
And I also say this too. I felt like I was watching the sausage being made, because what did make me feel a little dirty when he sat there and go, "What do you guys see out there?" When many of us would go, "I see collectors, I see cool giveaways." He goes, "I see money." And
I
all
knew
it is the more I can get you to sell shit, the more money. Because here's the deal, right, dude? He can go to a guy and say, "Hey, man, you could sell it for $1 million. I'm going to get 20% of that because I get the upcharge, right? The buyer has to pay the 20% fee. That's their commission." Yeah. And to me, it's like, it's got to be one of the, I don't want to say the easiest sales jobs, but man, that is a very lucrative sales position to be in, to basically talking people into selling their stuff to make money and then getting paid from the buyers who are buying it. I saw sausage. That's all I can say. I felt a little dirty, but I respect it. I understand.
I think it just goes to show you, as a consigner, there's a lot in it. You look at like the DC Sports 87. I know you use them. You look at the Probsteins. You look at some of these bigger ones. You look at even these smaller auction houses like Pristine and Robert Edwards and stuff like that. There's a lot of money in just selling somebody else's stuff. And you're going to make money on that. Like, you can't screw that up. Like, the only way you can screw that up is if you give them something. And it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street, right? Where he says, "Sell me this pen," right? And you give them something that they don't want to sell. They're like, "Sell me top dollar on this Wander Franco right now." And they'd be like, "Oh, I can definitely do that for you. Absolutely. I'll find you the buyers." And they'd be laughed at, right? So they pick the easiest things, the things that are the hottest. And it's like, well, of course you're going to make money on that. That's another thing about the sausage being made. It's like, it's a target-rich environment, right? Where you can make money because there's so many things out there. It's like, well, all I got to do is pick a couple hundred of these, and I'm in great shape.
Well, again, I'll also say what I respect is that, again, whether you like, and I have not liked Ken because of the histories I've heard, the shady shit in the hobby, but I respect, again, his relationship. Why he's so good is relationships, because he's able to get people to buy from them once and then have him resell it for them. Like, he's getting paid 3 or 4 times on this stuff, and those connections. Again, I thought it was a good show. It made me like I said, if I had something worth value, I'd probably go to Ken. Now, it'll be interesting to see now he's part of eBay, right? What happens, and I hope they do another show. And I'd also be curious, like, why wasn't Alex in more of the stuff? That's one thing I didn't understand.
So one last thing, I
liked her.
I agree. I was a huge Barry Bonds fan growing up. My grandmother, who's no longer with us, when I was 18 years old, I graduated high school. She said, "You can go on one vacation. I'll pay for the whole thing." And I said, "Well," and I gave out a couple ideas, and she's like, "Well, we can go to San Francisco." And I said, "Well, I'm going to a Giants game because I'm going to watch Barry Bonds play." And I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Was like on my graduation from high school, I got to go to San Francisco. I got to go to the old Candlestick Park and watch Barry Bonds play. So when he had Barry Bonds on there, I was like eating that up. I was like, man, I just want to. I miss the days of Barry Bonds playing. I know he did steroids, but man, was he a fun player to watch. He was one of my favorite players.
I also like that scene because it showed his human side where he was going to say, "You want me to sign this? You get me one of these for my son." And who cannot relate to that there? That was a well done scene. It's like, okay, Barry, okay, you got a little humanity. You're not a complete dick. I liked you. It was good. Like I said, it was a good show, man.
Absolutely. For those who are watching, go watch it if you haven't. But if you haven't watched it, maybe we spoiled it a little bit for you. Sorry about that.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking to myself, could there be a competitive show to that in some way?
I think
I'm surprised someone hasn't tried to compete with it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a market for competing in that.
I agree. I think you've got like your networks like Peacock. You've got your Amazon Prime, your Paramount Plus. One of those networks can
there's so many.
easily like that. Amazon. I mentioned Amazon. They could easily pick that show,
and
pick a show up and do a competitive series there.
And I think what would be cool is if they competed against it, even if they could indirectly. You know what I'm saying? By like, if they go after big stuff, show them who didn't get it, right? Well, you know, Golden didn't sell this. Who did sell? I would love to see that side. It definitely. I think somebody else mentioned that they would like to see kind of a competitive shows nature of that, them fighting and competing for stuff. And I thought too that the Cleopatra hand thing was just so bizarre. I was kind of irritated they brought that out for 2 episodes and they drop it. Like if they don't come back and answer that, it's going to irk me.
It's really weird.
It's going to irk me.
That was just weird. Like, where did that come from? Like, out of nowhere. It's like, I got this box, and it's like, you look at it, it's like, oh, what the hell is that? That was commenting on your camera. Oh, man, that's the
my camera is bad. It's in a terrible – it's the camera, too. I'm in a terrible laptop that, honestly, the keyboard is broken. I'm replacing it soon. There will be a new camera. That's why I think it's funny. Here's a quick question up here. I guess I made a comment that this hobby trends in 20-year cycles. Can I explain why I feel that way? I don't know if it's exactly 20 years, but I just do feel like it's so cyclical. Like everything is so cyclical, and it's even though we see it, we continue to repeat it. I don't know what to say. I mean, and I think even to the point where like now, that's why I will say this: I'm very skeptical on investing in the hobby. I would not tell anybody to hold anything long term. You're going to get rich off it, but I think you can have a lot of fun in the modern hobby, buying, selling, trading, flipping, holding, whatever you want to do. It's just, there's so much activity going on, you know? I do think it's interesting, all the repacks, which I've been negative of repacks. And I'll say this, I've always said, repacks are not new. Repacks, in my opinion, will be a trend that you will see taper off because people will get annoyed with it. They will, like when I was back in 2015, 16, the word was, don't buy a repack, only idiots buy repacks. Everybody would tell you that. Like your friend would tell you that. Today, everybody's like, yeah, dude, buy the repack. Eventually, enough people will sit there and go, dude, don't buy a repack. That's a foolish thing to do. And that will taper off again. That's a cycle. That will absolutely happen.
Well, the way I look at it, what are people's motives in the hobby, this hobby, the card hobby? Do they want to have fun? Do they want to gamble? Or are they trying to speculate? Or do they want to be one of the key players that makes this not your primary source of income, but a side hustle, right? So if you're making repacks, that can be very good for you, right? If you're buying repacks, that's a losing proposition unless you're chasing that high, but then you're just going to sell the card. Like that's what like I listened to The Hobby with Cage. You listen to him at all?
Yep.
He's got a pretty good set of podcasts there. And one time he's like, it's great that you guys are chasing this card, but what are you going to do with it when you get it? You're not going to keep it. You're going to sell it.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually hobbying unless the hobbying is the having fun of chasing it and then getting rid of it. And so you mentioned you can be very fun, right?
Yep.
So for me,
it's funny that.
Go ahead.
No, I totally agree with Cage on that. And I was to say I used to like it when he had Andrew with him as well, but I agree with him on that. I do like the chase, and I think there's nothing wrong in that. Like I've come to realize, like it's funny when I got in, I used to collect, then I started selling. Now I sell and collect. Now I sell and I flip. I am 100% flipper now because I enjoy the experience. Like I can get into an NT break because I can sell enough shit to get me an NT break. I don't have to sit on the sideline, save my budget to take a shot in an NT that I might lose my budget and be crying about it for the rest of the year. I'm not taking that risk. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I feel like the hobby, there's nothing you cannot do in this hobby as far as participation. If you put enough time and work into it, you can start with dollar, nickel, dime and work your way up to getting into a big or buying a big product, buying a big break, getting a big box, any experience you want. And that's part of the rush.
Well, yeah, no, that's part of the fun too, right? Whether it's ripping stuff, whether it's buying stuff. I've said this before, like if you don't like what Fanatics is doing to the hobby, that's fine. If it brings eyeballs, that's a good thing. But you don't have to buy into any product. You don't have to buy a break. You don't have to buy the boxes. That doesn't matter. But if that is how you hobby, then it'll piss you off. But if you pivot to something that you enjoy and say, you know what, I'm going to look backwards. I'm going to look at stuff that already exists. Maybe it's graded. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm going to buy the raw to grade. Maybe I'm going to buy the singles a year and a half later out of the boxes when they're all cheap. And then I'm going to grade them, or I'm going to, buy 100 of these and I'm going to grade 40 of them, and you'll do fine. And that will be your fun, right? So,
well, it's funny you saying that you could come into the hobby, just focusing on old cards, buying vintage, never opening anything new, make enough money to then buy into something on, totally that's not out of your pocket. You know what I'm saying? You can play any role you want to. What I will comment though, real quickly, I don't like the fact that how different groups don't accept each other. Right, like there are a lot of people who are collectors who can't stand breakers. They can't stand the guys who are buying the products. They get upset about that. They feel like you're driving prices up. Again, I feel like we need to respect and appreciate. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not going to argue with you that, hey, people aren't rising the prices or whatever, but let's appreciate it. Like each layer of the hobby is unique. You have people who are buying. You have breakers. You have graders. You have, unfortunately, you have scammers too. So it's a weird ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think as long as we know that ecosystem exists, and if we can get offended by it if we're, we can be the watchdog and call out the bad behavior. But I would just say, like, don't let that ruin your experience. There's still a bull market somewhere for you to enjoy. You just got to go find it. And
well, I'll say this too. Call out the bad behavior, though. You can still have a good time and have enjoy the hobby. Like the comment here, we're investing in flawed humans. I don't disagree with that. That's part of the hobby, though. It is flawed humans. It's a free market. It shows what humans are capable of. Like the whole reason grading exists is because everybody's definition of mint isn't mint. So it is flawed. Right. But I don't know. It is fun.
Well,
so let me ask you. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as how am I hobbying at the moment, right? We just saw Series 2 come out. We just saw Chrome release. Some people I know, they're going in heavy on Series 2. They're going in heavy on Chrome, and I wasn't buying any of it. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing what everybody said, what everybody knows I'm already doing. I have the wrong shirt on. I have the Bucks shirt on today. I don't have a Kings shirt. I am buying every De'Aaron Fox parallel for a reasonable price that I can right now. I'm literally loading up. I'm doing what you did with Wemby, with Fox, with everything, all the way back to his.
But you're not selling.
What's that?
Right, you're not selling Fox though.
Maybe not initially, but I'm loading up on enough to keep it and sell some. I'm getting multiples of cheap stuff right now. That I'm just, you know what? I believe in him. I enjoy watching him play. I think he'll be one of the best Kings ever. I don't care what happens from here on out with him. He can never make the playoffs again. I don't care. Like, I'm not so that I'm like losing thousands of dollars, but tons of raw cards, like tons of raw parallels.
Are you buying rookies or everything of him? Like
everything,
like vet years too. Okay.
Vet years too. Gold's number to 10, tie dyes. Not just base cards.
So when do you call yourself a super collector? Are you a Fox super collector?
Kind of there already. Yeah, kind of there already. I need to make a video of all the things I picked up in the last, probably like, it'll look like I bought into a ton of breaks is what it'll look like. And
what is your favorite? What's your favorite Fox card?
I still like the purple optic PSA 10. I have 3 copies of them. I think there's only like a population of 39. I've got 3 of them. So
nice.
It's one of my favorite cards. Like it's a color match. It's a cheap card relative to some pricing. It's a low population, even though it's not numbered. I don't really care. And this card just looks cool. I like that Optic 2017 design. I think the Tatum card looks better in an Optic. We could talk about that for just a smidge of time. He just won the finals.
I think everybody agrees. Yeah, Optic looks better than Prism. I don't know why Prism costs more. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. That Optic, that color match on the Optic, it just looks really nice. And it's a clean design.
Yeah.
There's no dots.
I don't understand.
Little hash marks and crap like that. It's just simple.
I will say, in my opinion, before the COVID boom, I do think there was a move where Optic was getting ready to take over Prism. I really do. Because I felt like people like myself came back to the hobby in 14, 15, 16, whatever, And we were seeing this rated rookie, and we're like, well, what? I like that more. And I said this to a friend. I think what hurt Optic was the fact that Panini still made a goddamn Donruss product, right? Like they don't make paper Prism shit and then come up with Prism Chrome later on, but they make this shitty Donruss product, and then they came out with Optic, which I thought created a lot of confusion and frustration. Because here's what happened: as a buyer-seller, I would be buying these damn paper rated rookies that weren't as valuable as the Chrome ones. Right. I think that's really what killed it. I honestly will tell you, if they made a shitty paper Prism, Optic would be king today. And it's that damn Donruss shit they keep around. That's, again, still, why are you making Donruss? I don't understand. I know I do know now because it's money. But think about that. That is really why I think we never accepted Optic as the primary product, because everybody likes the rated rookie, the on-card autos, the damn colors are better. There's better color matches. I mean, there really are. I can't.
Yeah. Everything about it.
Just, I understand it. Yeah.
Especially certain years, maybe not every year, but that's one year. Like
when was the first year of Optic? Was that 16?
16,
was 16 the first Optic year?
Yeah, 2017.
And they were making that Donruss shit before that.
They were.
Right? They had the paper product, and they kept the damn paper shit. I'm telling you, they didn't do that.
Yeah, that was a mistake. They did. I mean, obviously, they even do it to this day, right? You saw Donruss football and Donruss. The other thing I wish, now I know it's sort of like a wish list. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but when you look at like where the inserts are in terms of the downtowns or some of the really sought after inserts, the one gripe I have, there's no retail product in basketball that ever had a downtown. They need to change that because they're so hard to come by. One of the products that, like, for example, in Fox
hold on, stop for a second.
Yep.
Time out. You're asking Panini to fuck up basketball before it's over, right? So they'll do that for you. Next year, Optic will be one per box. Optic downtown will be one per Optic box.
That'll probably
but
be
you are
true.
Right.
I
want to make a note.
It only makes sense.
The only retail product in Panini basketball you could pull a good insert in was the fucking Monopoly Color Blast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I said. Like that. Now it's not the same Color Blast, but they do have a Color Blast. And you're right. Optic does not have the downtowns. They've always been greedy in basketball. In fact, this year was the first year they got a little loose with putting numbered cards in Select and numbered cards in Prism retail. So it'll be interesting. Maybe next year there'll be a downtown in Optic basketball retail. I could see them doing that just to screw it up on the way out.
They are doing stuff with Optic basketball. I know they've tried some new case hit inserts. They have one called Phases, with PH being the phases part. Yeah. There's a Fox card and so far I've seen a Fox and a Ant-Man. They look really nice. They look like Color Blast with like multiple player like images and like different. They're going up for a shot or a dunk. It's cool. I just don't know what the price point would be on those, and so I'll watch them if they come up for auction. If they come for the right price, I might buy some of the players I like. Yeah. I'm not going to go crazy on that, but that when you think about the Panini basketball, let me just kind of finish with this. I don't know if you want to circle back on anything, but
no, go ahead.
Tatum and Fox and Mitchell had a rookie year in 2017. Can you name the product that had the downtown for their rookie year? And it's nothing like you'd think.
Think about this.
I was shocked at first. I was like, that's where the downtown is? That product? They don't even make that anymore.
Oh, well, then that's helping me a little bit. Shit. I don't know, but give me a second. Something they don't make anymore. Oh, damn. I was going to say Absolute, but it wasn't Absolute.
Nope.
Absolute had Kaboom cards, right?
Yep.
I don't know. What was the Optic downtown in for those guys? I was going to say Panini 1-1, but it's not that either.
It wasn't. That was later. It was Cornerstones.
Yeah. Holy shit.
It was in Cornerstones, which is a paper product. And when you look at it, you're like, that's the downtown? That's not even a Chrome product. But that's the Tatum and Fox rookie year downtown along with Donovan Mitchell. Yep.
How much?
They're extremely hard to come by. There are barely any that exist, and they're very expensive. Like the Tatum one goes for like $8,000. It's insane. The Fox goes for like $1,500. It's and I like if the
interesting.
price was right, if it was like $700, maybe I'd splurge for it. But I'm just gonna be patient on that and see what happens. But
How much are
I looked because I was
sealed
curious.
boxes?
Oh, I
How
don't
much
know.
is sealed
I don't
boxes
know.
of that product?
I have to check that out. I'm not really sure, but Cornerstone.
That could be a sleeper.
It
I
could
never, ever. You're right. Never would have guessed that. Never would have guessed
I
Cornerstone.
couldn't believe it at first either. When I looked at it, I was like, Cornerstones? Like, what in the world? Where did that come from?
Well, so those are the first downtowns, correct? Ever made.
I don't know they're the first
like
downtowns.
They've started in basketball. They started in basketball. Then they moved into football a few years later.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
But basketball 2017 was Cornerstones of all things. Who knew?
That's a really cool piece of history because when you, again, like you said, when you think about how popular downtowns are, the first downtown I never would have thought was 2017 Cornerstone. What about the Kabooms? Where'd those start? I think that was 2000. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was That was innovation, and I think it was like 2011 or 12.
I want to say
remember buying a case
12.
of that just to get a Kaboom because that was a popular thing for my kids, and we pulled the Chris Paul Kaboom, which you were very disappointed in.
Yeah.
And then we ended up buying. I bought my son a Curry, and I bought him a KD one, which again these were back in 2014 and 15. We sold those in 16 or 17 for good profit. Now those things are worth a shitload of money.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with stained glass. I remember we had the stained glass. Those innovation boxes used to be $45 a box because my kids loved those things. Like they were each allowed to get one of those when we'd go in. It was an affordable hobby box, and they had so many great hits in them now. Now I don't think you can buy them anymore.
Yeah, I think that is one thing.
That's why you got to hold the Fanatics product when it comes out. That could be the future. That could be the next innovation. It could be the next Cornerstone, right? Because some product today is me one where to look back and go, damn, I wish I still had some of that. Well, it's definitely not retail shit. I can tell you that.
Oh, for sure. And looking forward, whenever Fanatics, Tops, whatever you want to call it, the future of basketball comes out, they're going to put the downtown light, which I'd call the home field advantage for basketball. They're going to put that in a retail product. I can guarantee you. There would be too much money there to be made. They're going to put those. I don't know what they're going to call them, like on the court or something like that. Heck, they might steal our idea of in the paint. But we could certainly see that in a retail product. I can guarantee you that much.
Yeah, it is interesting. So, what do you think about all the Fanatics changes? Do you care about the marketplace news they came out with? They partnered with Sotheby's.
I think
that's a good. I think that's a good move.
I think it is. Anytime you broaden your base of who you're marketing to, PWCC was, I think, viewed largely as cards, and I think Sotheby's is viewed more as like an auction house, like of fine art and other things, and that can be good.
Absolutely.
In terms of broadening the number of people that you bring into the experience. So that's a smart partnership. The Fanatics Fest that we have coming up, I wish I could go to that. I really do. I may not do the National this year, and I probably can't do the other one because it just clashes with some events. But I really wish I could go to that Fanatics Fest. It sounds like a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot more information on the website now.
Yeah.
What's not clear to me, they have a lot of photo op and autograph people listed, and many that are not. Like, for example, Brady's not listed as an autographer. Either is Jeter, right? But you got the Manning brothers, both as being photo ops and autographs. They don't give you any pricing on the autographs. Like, is it extra? Do you find out when you get on site? Is that included? Do you get some? Like, there's some things that just aren't defined yet. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. It also looks like each of the leagues will have some type of representation, like NFL, MLB. They're listed as exhibitors there, which would be kind of cool.
I could see that because you're starting to see it in baseball where players are starting to collect their own Topps products. You know, they're trying to like trade to get their one of ones, or they're when they made the deal and they said the Players Association or the league had part stake there. The only way that they're going to make a lot of money on that is to be all about it. And they're going to have to turn all these baseball players into hobbyists, because if they're just talking about like making money off the deal, That's not going to go very well. They have to actually collect their own product.
Well, I like the crossover where some of the players are willing to trade tickets for cards to collectors. I think that's a good thing, right? I think that's actually really, really cool.
I agree. I think it's fun, and even if it's not with somebody that's really got a lot of hype around them, like I saw the other day, I think it was either Wyatt Langford or Evan Carter collected their stuff, but it's the lesser known guys, right? It's the guy that just made the team, that's happy to just make the team, and he wants to collect his own stuff. That's cool. That's cool because he may share that with his kids and say, you're or his grandkids someday and say, you know what, your granddad played in the major leagues, and here's my stuff, right? And they put these in boxes of all things. You never knew that happened. And I think that'd be cool.
It seems like there's more of that in baseball. Like I would like to see more football players involved in that. I wonder if that's as popular. You know what I mean? Because it just seems like when you think about card collecting, I bet you there's football players who collected baseball cards, but probably aren't into football cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe weren't as aware of what the football card world is. So I'd love to see some of that. Like it'd be interesting. It would be kind of cool, like what PSA did with the baseball cards and the players. I'd love to see some baseball card or some cards and some football players. Right? Talk about some grass stained stuff, or maybe a card from a game with a big player, a big sack. I'm excited. Like I said, there could be some fun stuff coming out. I guess it's even giving credit to PSA for that. So.
Yeah.
Have you had any PSA orders come back lately? Now that I think about that, any PSA
I had
stuff?
I had one. I put a video up last Friday. It was an IndyCar product. It was basically.
I saw that.
10 IndyCar autos, one mini that looked like the T206 version of an IndyCar driver, Alex Palou, really good driver. And then it had one baseball, and it was numbered 1 out of 99 from Logo Fractor. Pretty good gem rate. Honestly, the Pato autos I was a little put off by. I thought maybe I'd snag a 10 on one of those. Maybe that was him. Maybe he was a little rough with the cards. I don't know, because there's a slew of them that I got 10s on really easily. And it was like I could tell there was some care taken with the cards because they're all on-card autos. And then there was a couple of drivers where it's like I didn't get any on any of these. And it's like, well, I think you guys may have been just a little rough with the cards, but it is what it is. It'll all come out in the wash.
I have my first cards at the eBay auction right now.
I've got another order that should pop any day now. It's in assembly. It's been in assembly for a week and a half. So I'm guessing it might be.
I love that. I do love it. I had one pop last week that came back. I sent some off to the eBay vault, or not eBay vault, to the PSA vault that are on eBay in the auction right now. Mm-hmm. So I'll see what happens. I don't know how you get your money out. We'll see what happens. I have 3 that are selling right now. I love that you can send cards over them. Yeah, it's not through PayPal. I think it's some other method. You have to open up some type of other account, some type of know your customer enrollment that I have to finish. But I'm looking forward to that because I'll be honest. I think sending directly from the PSA grading, the fact you can do that is freaking awesome. Especially the fact they have a vault where you can store some football cards, waiting for the football season. My only complaint right now is your only option is a 7-day auction, right? Yeah. Now I will tell you, you can schedule that. By the way, when you do it, you can pick what you want on a Friday, Saturday start, and it gives you a zone. Like I was going to start between 6 and 8 p.m. So I thought that was pretty cool. So there was some scheduling on that.
Yeah,
but I think this would be awesome. I've never had fingerprints on my cards. Last stuff had fingerprints on every card.
I've had that before. The foil cards, especially if they're pure foil. I had one on an HFA once that I had to send back for that very same thing. It had a fingerprint on it, and I was like, I didn't leave that there. Pretty sure I didn't leave that there. And then I handled the cards separately to experiment. I was like, these are really easy to fingerprint. I'm pretty sure they did that. So
yeah, well, I've always said about that. I don't think they wiped them all off. I will tell you, I did talk to Panini. I did ask them about the update on my Wemby card, and there's no major update. In fact, what they said is they're very far behind. They still have not gotten to that group of cards. It'll probably be a few more months, which I will say does bring me some concern.
That they won't get to it?
Well, not that they won't. I haven't asked them, and she says, well, if you like, we can give you Panini points or Panini packs. I'm like, it's a gold 1 of 10. Just, well, well, maybe you want to wait. I said, so if I'm patient and wait, I'm going to get the card, right? She goes, yeah, we're getting it fixed for you. I'm like, okay. And she was very nice. And I'll also say she answered quickly. Like I've had ease of calling Panini and then answering and being friendly. So I'm surprised by that.
The thing you could always do is take the thing to the National and get one of those one boxes or whatever they have, or it's one of one. Those could be
the black boxes. But how many black boxes? Yeah. How many black boxes would you accept for that? Because the black boxes are valued at between $500 and $1,000 a piece.
Oh man, that'd have to be a lot. I think
exactly.
It's easily $5,000, maybe.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So yeah.
And by the time I finally get it and grade it, it's the season's gonna be coming, so I'm gonna hold it into next year. I'm gonna hope Wimby comes out playing well. He'll probably break his leg, and I'll be pissed. But
you've held on to the card long enough, or you've had it in their possession. Hopefully, get it back in a timely fashion where they actually still have to do that, honor that commitment. But by then, Wemby will be in the playoffs. Hopefully, as a team, they'll have a chance. They'll have free agents they sign. They'll be on the up and up. Not just about him. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. There's a lot of hype built in, but again, if he starts making a deep run earlier rather than later, that'll be good too.
Yeah, it just worries me. The first injury he has, let's be honest, everybody gets injured. People are going to freak,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you see that right now with
Mike Trout.
Yeah, Trout. Well, Trout's damaged goods at this point. I'd probably make a video about that. Brett makes a lot of videos where he calls it any trout is a good trout.
Yeah.
I think those days are over.
I agree.
I'm not sure I call it a good trout anymore because this dude hasn't played a full season in 5 years.
Well, it's funny. I had one of his I got one of his cards, and I think it was the mega box, and I thought about, do I grade this or not? And in the past, if it was a shiny prism of Trout, you grade it, and you normally get back, if in a 10, you normally make money, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, I don't know. I do feel that about Ohtani. I think Ohtani's one you can grade. I think Curry, LeBron, those are guys you can grade them. They're going to give you value when they come back. But I don't know about Mike Trout. I don't know anymore.
I agree. I think you have to look for the sure bets where you can grade anything. And Ohtani was there last year, mid-season, when he got hurt. It kind of changed a little bit, but he's back there now in the same market. He's, obviously when he starts pitching again, it'll make a big difference too. I think his WAR is better than people thought, just for the fact he's not even pitching right now. So, but another guy that you could see that happen to eventually, because he's really getting up there, not in age, but in career WAR, is Aaron Judge.
Yes.
Aaron Judge. I mean, he's in a New York market.
I graded one of his cards. Yep.
Man, I think you could almost grade anything parallel Aaron Judge, and it would probably do pretty well.
I agree with you. That's a great. So, who are the front runners, AL and NL, for MVP? I'm going to say it's got to be Judge on the AL, right?
I think it has to be, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt.
I think Soto got injured. I don't know anybody else who's getting the attention that Judge is. If Judge wins another MVP in 3 years, 2 and 3 years, that's a pretty big deal.
2 and 3 years, yeah. That would be very, very solid.
Yankees could go well. Like, I tell you what, man, I am not a Yankees fan. I was as a kid, but I would love to see them win the World Series. I think it'd be good for the hobby. I really do. Seeing them win would be really good. I can't think of who's second there for in the AL. It's probably Soto.
I'll have to look it up on.
And then in the NL, it probably was Mookie Betts until the injury, right?
Yeah, I would have said Mookie Betts. Probably.
Ohtani's probably up top. It's up there, but again, it's all on hitting.
Yeah.
And Acuna's out. I don't know. I don't know who would be in the NL. So I'm thinking I go after the Dodgers and the Yankees in breaks for Chrome.
You got Ohtani and Harper are your front runners in the NL. And then in the AL, you've got Judge at 1-1 and the Soto at 3-1, and Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt. Those were I was going to mention Bobby Witt, but Gunnar had a great first half of the year too. He's got a lot of home runs. Yeah, I didn't think Fernando Tatis was having a great year, but he's apparently third in the voting
really?
The betting right now at 1,000 or 10-1.
Yeah, because I haven't even heard his name at all.
That seems a little odd. I wouldn't have thought that. Freddie Freeman's up there. William Contreras of the Milwaukee Brewers is up there. He is a catcher, but he's a solid player. But then we're getting Mookie Betts 20-1 now. So, boy, some weird names up there: Alec Boehm, Ketel Marte, Marcell Ozuna. It's still pretty.
Yeah, it is early, but it will change quickly by the end of July. By the time the Nationals here, we'll have a really good vision. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So the next 6 weeks, things will heat up a lot.
Yeah, I think Judge, if he stays healthy, has really got an inside track this year again, because he's just hopefully has a really good season.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. So I am going to try to do Fanatics Fest. Like I said, we talked about that. I'm trying to think, what else have we not talked about? I think we pretty much.
I want to talk about golf really quick, if you haven't.
Go for it. Yeah.
If you want to. So Bryson DeChambeau won the U.S. Open. For those who aren't golf fans, Bryson DeChambeau left the PGA Tour to go to the LIV Golf Tour.
Yep.
And Rory McIlroy hated it. Absolutely hated it. Well, come full circle, years later, the LIV guys are starting to win and contend for titles now, okay? Rory McIlroy was leading by 3 after Bryson was the third round leader going into the 4th round. Rory built a 3-shot lead.
Yep.
And he only had 3 holes to go.
And he lost.
He lost. And he completely didn't talk to the media, et cetera, et cetera. But Bryson has become like a fan favorite. And everybody hated this guy, right?
Yep.
And they hated the fact that he went to LIV. But the thing about this that's interesting is the cards, right? Panini signed the LIV Golf card deal. So you can get Bryson DeChambeau autos out of the LIV product from Panini. I haven't heard really anything about that. I'm very curious whether these LIV guys, they're winning majors now, and you've got some really big names over there. And Bryson is a fan favorite now. So do you go chase a Bryson DeChambeau auto in a break from the LIV Golf product on Panini? I don't know. If the price is right, maybe.
And Upper Deck has what? Is there Upper Deck have Rory? Who has?
Probably Upper Deck. Yeah. But somebody needs to sign golf again. They're going to all be together in about 2 to 3 seasons from now. The LIV Golf is basically going to merge back with PGA Tour. It's really interesting, though, because for years when LIV had guys come over, and they never play PGA Tour events, so you never see them except for the majors, and they were like complete afterthoughts. And then Brooks Koepka won, and now Bryson DeChambeau won, and other guys have contended. And it's really funny to see how it's come full circle. Like, these guys figured it out. They figured out how to win majors when they don't play a lot of golf. And I think that's interesting. And then as well, I didn't even realize that Bryson DeChambeau had autos. And I was like, oh, shoot.
I'm surprised there isn't more high-end golf products, because as snobby as golf is, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. I went to the what's it called? The Augusta, the Masters many years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember being there. A friend of mine's like, you got to buy the merchandise because you only buy it there, right?
Yeah. Because
the merchandise does have a value. It's this prestige to it. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm really surprised there aren't more of the, like game used flags, or a piece of the bag, or tees. It's just a really interesting, because you would think, as much as because again, the people in golf who spend money in golf are some of your richest motherfuckers in the world. So you think they would be chasing some big, like, you think it'd be a transcendent box,
big stuff
that you get to meet like Tiger Woods and I don't know,
the relics,
or maybe here'd be a great one where you get to go to the Masters and play for a round. That'd be freaking amazing,
It would be. I mean,
pull that in a box.
You could take a golf ball and cut it into pieces and put it in a thing and call it a major used golf ball.
Yeah,
like, that would have to go for a ton of money.
Somebody's got to be doing that. Somebody's
got to think of that or be doing it, because
we'll never. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we'll ever see like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, not for a while. Not for a while. It doesn't appear anybody on the horizon is like a Tiger Woods, and I don't even think his son is going to be like that. I think Charlie's going to be a good golfer, but I don't think he'll be a great golfer. Yeah. I think he'll have a long way to go to be on the PGA Tour someday, but he'll be a solid golfer.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I just wanted to bring that up.
That's really interesting. I had no idea. I mean, I learned 2 things tonight. I learned about that. I learned about the cornerstones. These are these are great pieces of information why you should be watching the show. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up though, because I've got to get some stuff done tonight before 11. I got to go to the grocery store and buy milk and diapers.
Got to do that, man. Got to do the dad duty stuff.
But it's been a great show, man. I'll definitely be in touch. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Really appreciate everybody out there. Trying to what's going to be happening next 2 weeks. We'll be in July, so it'll be a few weeks away from the National. I'm going to go for a day, so we'll talk about that. That should be fun, man. Thanks again for joining, John. Really appreciate it.
Hey, no
Have a
problem.
great day, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See ya.
Killing the stream.